primary ignition.
I'm just not the hero type, clearly.
What a piece of junk.
Enterprise, this is the captain.
I got a bad feeling about this.
It's all part of the plan.
Engage.
Welcome back to Podcast 2 for 1. I'm your host, Donovan Thompson, with my co-host,
Daniel Wingfield.
and today's another exciting episode of Podcast 2 for 1, youtube.com/@241 Studios. It's the best place to consume all the content. If you didn't know, listeners, let's be honest, you probably didn't know, we are sponsored by Kapow Comics, located at 4047 East Coast Avenue in Sherwood, Arkansas. And they have comic books, collectibles, graphic novels, and of course, special guest appearances throughout the year.
Kapow.
Daniel, it's 2:38, and I got to do a retraction from last week.
Oh, okay.
I thought that, or 2 weeks ago, I'm not quite sure now. I thought we had, well, at the time of our last recording, we had one more episode left of Daredevil. It turned out we had two more episodes.
Yes.
So I said our penultimate thoughts were really just kind of like our ultimate thoughts.
Yeah.
And so now we've consumed the last few episodes of Daredevil Born Again. And now we kind of talk about it in its entirety. It's interesting, just kind of our text message thread, our previous podcast, where we were with the Netflix show X amount of years ago, how we started with this, then where we are on the end of this.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious to see where we land here. So let's kind of dive into it. Overall, what are your thoughts on season 1 of Daredevil Born Again?
Overall, my thoughts are, it was good, not great, is how I would put it. I think there were some really, really good parts of it, in particular the performances and the actors. I mean, Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are really carrying the show in a really strong way. And to some ways, that's like a good thing, right? They're so good, but in some ways, that's a criticism that they're having to do that, maybe in some ways that ideally they wouldn't. Just to talk about the episodes, the penultimate episode was great. Had a great tension, a great pacing, like just some good moments. There was a few times that like maybe the lines of dialogue weren't the most, I don't know. There were some lines that were maybe a little head scratchy, but overall it felt really good. It felt fun. It made me ready for the finale. And before that, I was still going to watch it, but I wasn't as like, oh, I can't wait. And I watched that. I was like, oh, I really want to watch it now. That's a good feeling. Right. But then the finale just was very anticlimactic for me. Like it did not build up to a big moment. I guess like the biggest moment is like Daredevil and Frank Castle fighting together. Like that's kind of like the climax of the action. But even the fight scene like just didn't wow me. Like I felt like every time
really
Frank
weird
did something,
slow-mo.
Yes,
really weird slow-mo.
He did things, and every time he did something, it was slow-mo, and it just made him look slow. And like it made him seem like, why is he even alive right now? He's barely doing anything. He doesn't seem that capable, while Daredevil's like just, whipping ass. And so there were just some things like that. You're just like, that's not okay. And then, Karen coming back, that's cool and all. I don't really understand why, other than just to throw an extra wrench in the love triangle. I don't know. But yeah, I think there was just some head scratching, confusing, and frustrating things that were like, man, I thought you set up for something bigger here and there. The character moments, again, were great. Kingpin's little speech, his multiple speeches were all good. I loved the Gandolfini, a young Gandolfini Jr.'s moment. He had some great moments.
I can't take him seriously yet. I think it's his voice.
This is the best role it's such a perfect role for him. I think he's nailing it. Anyway, all I have to say is like, I still enjoyed it. I still am very interested in season 2. But it definitely feels like it didn't quite come together in the way I hoped it would by the end.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much echo all those things. And this is kind of goes back to what I was saying a month or so ago now, is that, I'm looking forward to season 2 more than this season, because it feels like we're on a more unified front going into with a different showrunner, and the things that I think that perhaps were working the best or whatever were some of the reshoots. And you shared this quote in the text of like, can you repeat that? Because I agree with this.
Yeah. So this was Houston Coley, on Twitter said, on Daredevil, I've never seen a show so objectively and obviously stitched together with some reshoots, shoelaces, and a dream that still somehow consistently pulls it off with flying colors based solely on the sheer power of its lead performances and decent character writing. And I think that's 100%.
I probably wouldn't give it as high marks. Like it feels
Sure.
like it's like this is amazing still.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't say
But-
it pulls it off every time. I would say
Yeah.
it pulls it off enough, but it doesn't every time. Yeah.
Well, just kind of real quick on the penultimate episode, I feel like we kind of put our characters into some places, particularly Matt, where it just feels like I understand he should be like almost at his lowest point, but it just feels a little like some of the dialogue and some of the choices he was saying or doing just kind of felt, I don't know, like he wasn't as smart as I think Matt typically has been in the past, or just how I think he should be like in the comics. But then as you go into the last episode, it just, whenever you're doing a show in the format they're doing this, where we had like the opening with Bullseye, the White Tiger situation, the like kind of like the hinting at Punisher stuff, and then bringing in Castle later, and then and then they start kind of trying to reference all these things back. To me, it puts like a big spotlight on, oh yeah, this is the way they decided to tell this story, and now that those didn't work, the finale is not going to work as well as it should. You should save Muse for the finale. That way, if you're going to have King, because you can still like have a victory with Muse, but then still lose the Kingpin. And that way you kind of get a stronger finale. Like we accomplished something, but we still lose the grander plan, right?
Yeah.
And also, and like, hey, Kingpin, like everyone's talking about this, and we can talk about it real quick. When he rips that guy's face in half,
gross.
Incredible. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, whoa, like
Yeah.
that is the goriest thing in the MCU, and that is like Kingpin unleashed.
Yeah.
It's Kingpin.
Well, and I was telling Catherine, it's like sometimes I forget. Sometimes I'm still surprised this is a Disney Plus show. This plus like Daredevil and Frank Castle just killing cops. That was just like, it's just like, listen, like I'm not saying that this shouldn't happen. I'm just saying, honestly, props to Disney. This is a different level than I feel like they've ever gone through with like Disney original programming.
Yeah, I still, hey, if was it Bob? It was David Zaslav. It was Bob Chapek. If he did one thing for Disney Plus, it was open the door for the violence, because he like added Hulu to it and all these kind of things.
Sure.
And then Deadpool Wolverine, obviously.
Disney owns so many companies. They've owned companies that have done rated R stuff. That's not, but this is Disney proper making this. This isn't like whatever their company they own that's just parented by them. It's like, no, this is the Disney Plus logo at the beginning of the show. Like it's just like 10 years ago, you would never have seen this, right? Like it just wouldn't have happened in a way.
Again, Deadpool Wolverine really also cracked that open for Disney in a big way, because it did. But
again, it's different going to a rated R movie where you have to have an ID to get in usually, versus putting something on a streaming platform that can be like a kid can just go watch it. Like
technically there are parental controls and things are locked,
but you have to activate them, right?
I'm saying if you so choose,
yeah.
And so again, the performances here are really carrying it. Even like I think some of the motivation, like Matt's motivation, I'm like, the performances are great, and I think just one of the best things all season was Frank talking to Karen, and he's like, you asked me for a favor and I did it, and she's like, you're right, you did, and he's saying I care.
Yeah.
And
he's saying I did care. Obviously, I do care. I just did that.
Obviously. And John Barenthal's performance, it's like, God dang, dude, you're so good. And great. What's great is that, spoilers, I watched The Amateur last weekend in theaters.
Okay.
And it's like I told Matt when we watched it, he must have a contract in his like feature film that he only will be in a movie if he's in it less than 5 minutes. Because it's like there's so many like that. And he's in The Amateur probably for like less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's fantastic in it. He's always a scene stealer.
Yeah.
And I wish that, clearly he's the Punisher, but I don't know. I wish he would be in some bigger movie as like a lead.
Sure.
And The Accountant 2 comes out this weekend also.
I don't know. James Gunn, there's got to be a good DC character he could do really well.
Man,
honestly, he's maybe a little old, but a younger version. There's a Bruce Wayne in there probably. You know what I mean? Like
he'd be the meanest.
He's
Bruce
got
Wayne
the Batman like voice already. Like the Batman part, obviously
Yeah.
he would nail. But yeah.
And to kind of touch upon the slow-mo thing, a reason why a fight scene, like why the Punisher works, and particularly John Barenthal's version of the Punisher,
Mm,
is that the reality of how fast and gruesome and
yes.
how a fight can be,
Yes.
that's what makes his Punisher kind of stand out from other just
Yes.
superheroes or vigilantes, is that it's quick, it's visceral, it's violent, and you're like, it's like over, but you're like, you
Yeah.
feel something from it. And when you're doing, it's not even good slow-mo. It's like
No.
it's like they shot it 24 and they decided to change it in slow-mo in post, and they had to like interpolate frames or something. It's like a really weird slow-mo.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And it just makes him feel not good. Like
well, it's
not
like, look at this,
powerful or like,
there's blood
yeah.
everywhere, everyone. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's not what makes him cool. What makes him cool
Yeah.
is the violence and the visceralness of it. Like, fuck, he just ripped the guy's throat
Yeah.
out, but before you can even process that, he's already stabbed this guy in the eyeball, you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's what makes
Yes.
him cool.
Yeah.
Disney, it's another episode of Disney Hires, is what this is. And I think
Yeah.
overall, again, this is just the show in general, it's just kind of stitched together.
Yeah.
And I think the highlight for me fight wise this year was that first fight with Daredevil and Muse, because it looked good.
Mm,
There was no CGI in it really,
yeah.
and
It
or
was
at
good.
least not noticeable. And I wish we get more in that. And I don't know. I'm surprised that it got so many. This is a masterpiece at the beginning of the see of this of
Well,
the
it's got the last two episodes had the highest rating of the season, which the penultimate one I get, but the lightest one I'm like, I don't know,
Can you
guys.
can you clarify for me? Why does Poindexter, aka Bullseye, why does he try to assassinate Kingpin? Is it because he's just wanting to
I
just
don't
to
know. I
feel
don't know.
better?
I mean, he'd rather kill her husband than kill her. Maybe that's more revenge. I mean,
I kind of was
yeah,
thinking like she told him to kill him at first. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
yeah.
know.
No, I don't get it either. It doesn't make complete
I
sense.
mean, she's the one who put the hit out on Foggy, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
so he's like, do that, which is fine, whatever.
yeah.
But then it's like, I don't know. It's super
Yeah, and that was
weird.
an interesting thing. I mean, like they had that. I mean, the episode started with that flashback scene of him and her, and a very. I mean, like he's like she kind of takes advantage of him being like doped up on meds to get him to agree to this.
But
Like
why would he
takes his
still agree
pills
to it
away.
though?
Yeah, I know. And then well, and then like we get like a lot like at the end it's like him looking at his old house, I guess, or something, or I don't know what he's doing, but he's looking around at something, and like it does feel like they're taking him on like kind of an anti-hero. Is Bullseye ever like an anti-hero at all in the comics, where he's like kind of not pure evil?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I understand. I don't even know. And the reason why I'm assuming there has to be something in the comics is because there's kind of been comments either I read the whatever comment
Yeah.
section or by showrunners where it's like maybe Bullseye's on the trajectory to like team up with Daredevil to fight Kingpin. And I don't know. This just seems kind of weird to me. Like I don't know the point of opening him up and those kind of things. It seems like there's so many more interesting things you could do with that guy. Like he was kind of, if I remember correctly, in season three, you know, being propped up and also like basically finally getting recognition almost. And then there's also like a
Mm-hmm.
jealousy aspect of like Daredevil and like wanting to be better, but then also getting recognition for his work. And
Yeah.
there's all those kind of things happening and that kind of rivalry building from there. And I don't know, there's like I think 10 more different interesting things you could do with that character than what they did with him this season.
Yeah, and it just, I mean, assumingly he's off his meds by the end of it, but he's not. It doesn't seem like the person that was in Daredevil season three. And listen, like to me, I'm wondering if they are. There was already that rumor about him wanting a spin-off show or something, or then someone talking about that.
Mhm.
And how he was in the old show, he was like kind of like
He was intelligent
creepy. But he was
and
creepy. I mean,
creepy.
like he was like
Yeah, he's
kind
like a
of he was
stalker almost.
stalker.
Yeah.
He's not someone you would typically make an anti-hero. Like no one would want that because
Well, he's
because
never,
because he was
yeah,
like
but he's
creepy with
not
sex
that.
and women and weird stuff. And so like
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're just trying to take him away from that so they can feel like they can use him more for whatever they want. I was looking it up, and like it does seem like it's like divided whether he's an anti-hero or a main one. I mean, it seems like
Yeah, I
he,
mean,
he started
traditionally
as a
he's
villain, but then there's been some runs that have given him more backstory and made him more complex. And then, I don't know. Um,
yeah. I mean, I would say he's like Green Goblin, right? I mean, there's a run of Green Goblin
yeah, but Green
recently where he's
Goblin's
like
like actually insane,
well, no,
like
I'm the point is
psychopathic.
there's a well, I would
But he could
argue
be too.
I would
Yeah,
argue in the comics both sides too. But I'm saying in Green Goblin, it's like even recently he's had like a hero run,
yeah,
and
yeah. Or
so like
especially Harry's Goblin. Didn't he he was more, was it
he
Hobgoblin a bit more true down the middle? I can remember.
recently in the Ultimate Spider-Man's like the last year he is a good guy,
Interesting.
but
Yeah.
like full blown good guy for the most part. So anyway, I just think his thing was kind of weird and odd.
Yeah.
I still think the Muse stuff was just wasted and just like
Wasted. Yeah.
really added nothing other than I guess giving Kingpin more credence to like the Vigilante Task
Well, it
Force.
was the reason he became Daredevil again, but that just was really not. It didn't land like it needed
No,
to.
it didn't land, and also yeah, again the way how they did it didn't land, and I guess his girlfriend is I don't know. I just didn't really like this kind of them pitting them against each other in the penultimate and then into the
Yeah.
finale. I just
And
kind
now
of felt
she's,
like again it made Matt look stupid. I don't know. Just
well, I mean, we know he's smart but he just is operating on information she just doesn't know. And she kind of expects he is expecting her to act like she knows things she doesn't, kind of thing. And it does feel, yes, it feels like just bad communication and expectations from Matt. Like they just don't make sense. Um, you understand why he feels the way he is, but you don't understand why he's acting the way he is with her with it. But I
yeah,
mean, like it's weird because I mean, like now she's becoming Trump's, like becoming a part of his administration, and then
Trumps.
Karen's back. Or sorry, Fisk's
Freudian
administration,
slip
and
there.
yeah, right. And then Karen's back now, so I just have no idea what they're doing with that. Like, is
It
that?
didn't feel. I guess it feels like yeah, Karen's back for the long
Well, and
haul.
then they
It
had that
is.
moment.
It is like she's like I'll never. She's like I'm glad you're back, and he's like yeah, me too. And it's like
Well, and they had that whole line where he's like, "Oh, I noticed your heartbeats when you saw each other with Frank," and she's like, "Did you notice my heartbeat when I saw you?" And he was like, "I
I guess
did."
I didn't. I guess
Must
I
have
didn't
been.
even.
And then they both said, and then there was like this, like must have been must have been what? Like they both said, like it was like kind of wink and a nod. Oh, it must have been. I'm sure you were just
I guess I.
surprised or something.
I guess
It
I
was
was
like
just
this.
checked out in that moment.
Yeah, so
Watching it.
they like definitely nod to like they both still kind of have feelings for
Don't
each
they
other.
like hook up in the Netflix show? Have
Yeah, they're
to,
together
right?
by the end of it.
Yeah, yeah. I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't really work for me in that one either. Yeah, it's okay though.
I think that's like his Mary Jane, right? But
Is
well,
it in
and
the
then
comics? I don't know.
yeah, and she does die
But this but
in Daredevil Born Again. She gets killed. I think she's like becomes a druggie and she ODs and she dies.
and
And
the girl
Kingpin
he
kills
was the
her.
therapist is a love interest from the comics, right?
Is she? I don't know.
That's what I thought. I'm pretty sure I thought she was.
I like Daredevil a lot. I've read a lot of Daredevil comics, but I'm not a Daredevil historian like I am Spider-Man or Batman.
Sure, sure.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think there's some weird pieces, and the last thing we'll say here is at least about, man, we've only been talking for like 10 minutes, or something like that. The Punisher thing is odd. It feels like that should have happened earlier, and we should have had Frank more in the season
Yeah.
dealing with that. You know what I mean? Like,
Also, the confrontation wasn't that good. Like him
no,
sitting in the
but
chair.
it's
Like,
also, but it's like they're like, you think, A, you think Frank Castle's gonna be one of you, and also B,
yeah,
cops are like loyal to a bone in terms of like
sure.
their clique. He just murdered all your guys. He's like, you murdered a lot of our guys or our friends, but
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
no, they would not stand for that.
yeah,
Like they
yeah.
would not do
Well, and
that.
it's just I just didn't think Frank's reaction. Like it just felt a bit anticlimactic too. Like it felt like it was supposed to be this moment where he's telling them to fuck off, and it just didn't land well. Like, it just didn't
Yeah,
feel that good. I just
no.
didn't. It just felt a little bit, just kind of like it just felt clunky.
It's
You know?
odd ending the season where like it looks like the swordsman from Hawkeye, which is like I
Yeah.
don't know anyone other than me and a handful of other people would even know that's who that guy is from Hawkeye.
He had this. I mean, we had that scene with him and Fisk where they mentioned, "Oh, aren't you the swordsman?"
I know, but like who remembers that from
Yeah,
30
I
years
mean,
ago watching
barely anybody
Hawkeye?
watched that show, but
That's
yeah,
that's my point. I mean, it's
yeah.
just like why it's like having a cam. It's like the dad from Miss Marvel
It just feels like
was
they're
like
trying to
you
connect
remember
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it feels like it's just kind of and I guess they're like all in cages at the end, and
I
it's
didn't
like
understand that. I didn't.
why,
Yeah, I didn't get that part
including
either.
Frank. It's like what?
Frank
Obviously,
makes sense. Frank makes sense. The rest of them, like, why? I don't.
I guess. I
I don't
mean, like,
know.
why wouldn't they kill
I
him?
thought he was like blackmailing them into like supporting him. I thought that was what he had been doing. So like,
He's
why are they in?
blackmailing the vigilantes and supporting him.
No, like he was like, but all the rich people, because that one dude's that's a swordsman. He's also like a rich guy, and so I thought
Yeah,
like when they were having that conversation, I was like, well, you better donate to me because I know this shit about you and I can make your life hell. So it felt very surprising when he's just in a cage.
well,
Yeah.
he kind of told him to fuck off. I remember, like in a roundabout way, right? Like, it's not gonna
But
happen.
I thought it kind of ended with like on a threat from Kingpin. Like it kind of like he did it first, and then Kingpin
Yeah,
was like, "Well, you can, but this will happen." And so it ended. I thought he was going. I thought he was conceding from that scene. That was my impression, but I may have
yeah,
gotten the wrong one.
yeah, and well, yeah. I mean, I guess he didn't concede, but it's just odd. I think having them in the cage, it's like, what are you gonna do with them?
Yeah,
What? Why keep them in a cage? Like, you clearly
yeah,
don't care about due process. Your
yeah,
best bet would just be. It feels very like I don't know, um, not late 90s, 2000s kind of superhero stuff where it's like, of course we're not going to kill him because we need the superheroes to come save him. Versus like, what would like
yeah,
I wish we had a mindset of like, what would Kingpin actually do in these
yeah,
scenarios? He would kill
yeah.
them, like a real Kingpin, because that's a
Sure,
smart thing to do. Versus
sure.
keep them around. Like, what are you going to do? Take pictures of them? Or are you going to?
Right.
I guess you could
He
lure
did
other
do that to that
superheroes.
one guy. He just enjoyed torturing him.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm saying
Yeah,
it's just odd decisions here. Odd after credit scene of like Frank
yeah.
getting out, I guess. It's like, okay, this is not cool. It is like,
And
I
it
don't know,
didn't
it
seem
is
like it was also just like, wow, that's literally the dumbest guard that's ever existed.
yeah, I mean Frank
Like it
straight my
just it
hand.
did not seem like this isn't Frank being smart. This is a dumbass guard. You know what I
It's
mean?
like it's the equivalent of having of like Hannibal Lecter saying, "Hey, come give me a hug."
Can I kiss you on the cheek real quick? I just you look really sweet. I just want to give you a little peck on the cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that.
smell
Yeah.
what kind of cologne you're
Okay.
wearing.
You know.
Yeah, sure. It's kind of wild. It's a
You're
wild
right.
kind of
It
setup.
is.
Now,
It
here's the
is.
other thing, of course, it's like we're gonna build an army, which, again,
Yeah. Or the whole city stuff. I mean, like it's interesting the idea that like, oh, that was their plan. They're like the whole Freeport thing, I guess, is whatever. But like, I mean, like, it is interesting. Like, is next season going to be like, it's Fisk's city? Like, there's this like sub city that has its own walls. It's all fit. Like, it almost feels like it'll almost feel like what Bane's Batman or Bane's
no man's
Gotham.
land. Yeah.
Yeah, like Gotham was with when Bane took over in Dark
Yeah.
Knight Rises. Like we've seen it before, like cities that like wall themselves off and are
Yeah.
under their own. And so, like, is there maybe a cool version of next season where it's taking place? The city's already been built, and now there's just this like you know
How big will that
independent
be?
state
Not
that,
that
that the
big,
government
right?
and everyone does. That's interesting. I would be interested in that plot at least. I mean, you could do some interesting stuff there, but um, yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's
also the elephant in the room or spider in the room is why wouldn't Spider-Man show up to this?
well, I mean, I'm guessing we're going to find out what's been going on with him once we get that movie that takes place simultaneously with uh, that
I don't
one
know
that
if
was
it
coming out.
does. I don't know if it. I'm
I thought
assuming
that was
it's
the rumor. I think that he's not in that
well.
one, but his movie takes place simultaneously as the events of that one happening.
No one knows. I'm saying
No,
my
you're not.
point is the rumor is and we don't know.
Yeah.
Um, I was assuming. I don't know. I don't know. I can't assume anymore.
I mean, I guess
So
like I mean, he does like he's off the grid. We know that. We know he's
but he's
like no
still
one knows about
Spider-Man.
him. But you're right. I just wonder like I mean like there is I mean could he be gone from New York for a while? Maybe I don't know.
Maybe. And here's the thing: is like people are like, oh man, like here's a weird thing. Whatever he said right before he says we need an army, there's actually a musical cue of Spider-Man's theme in there. And the composer has confirmed, yeah, I did that on purpose.
I totally missed that. Interesting.
Yeah, I missed it too, but I read this before we started the podcast.
Hmm.
That does not mean that Spider-Man is going to be in season two. I think the
No.
chance increased from 0% to like 0.5% that
Right.
he's going to
Yeah.
be in it. Because like it just there's no right? Like it's just not going
Yeah.
to happen.
Yeah.
But my point of all asking those kind of questions is, you know, they're making we've had this conversation now a few times when they're doing these kind of universes, it gets kind of harder when it's like this is happening over here, and then why
Yeah.
isn't like Thunderbolts is happening in like 2 weeks, right? Why isn't Sam Wilson going to be? We don't know if he is or not, but all signs point
Yeah.
to Sam Wilson's not going to be in the fight against Sentry or the
Right.
Void.
Yeah.
And so it's like, why? Where's he at? Why can't he? Like, like there's no Avengers left, or like we're the Thunderbolts now. And it's like there's plenty of heroes around. They just
Yeah.
don't. We're not calling themselves the Avengers.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just odd, right? Like we're just that's the
Yeah.
danger of these kind of cinematic universe stuff.
Well, and I think it is just like one of the cool things about Marvel in the beginning was it felt so much like our reality with a superhero all of a sudden, right? Like
Yeah.
it felt, the governments felt like our governments, like just the world felt one to one except with superheroes in it. And I think the bigger that they've grown that world, the less they can make it feel that way. And I think maybe that's just the nature of comic book universes that if you keep growing it, you have to kind of get more and more absurd with the science and the logic, and like you kind of have to get farther and farther away from what our reality looks like to bring in Sentry or Thanos, and like once we're doing that, we're just in a totally sci-fi fantasy universe at that point. And I think maybe that's just one of the consequences of getting this big as a universe, is getting this, and I would say like not deep, but like wide, as trying to include all these different types of characters and different types of stories, which in theory I like. I mean, that worked in phase 1, 2, and 3, right? Like with Guardians, with Ant-Man, with these other movies that had a different tone but still felt together. But I mean, like, just the wider you go, that now we have She-Hulk and we have Moon Knight and we have, all these very interesting, but like it kind of presents logic problems for the universe that I'm not sure are fixable. You know what I mean? It just may be the nature of being this big of a universe, and it just may never. I mean, we probably just can't ever get back to that. Oh, this feels like our real world at this point with with MCU, at least. I think that is another opportunity for the DCU to stand out, at least in the beginning, is to kind of bring some of that back, and we can feel some of that again. But yeah, I just think to a degree, I'm not sure how you avoid it when you bring in this many kinds of. There's so many different lores now in the Marvel universe. This is why this person power. This is why this person has power. And now we're about to get X-Men and Fantastic Four. And so it's just going to get more complicated and more. Why is this person a mutant and this person isn't? I don't know if it can all make sense. It probably can't. And if you focus on that, that might be like, you could have a story that makes perfectly logical sense and isn't good because you just focus too much on making everything logical and not enough on making it impactful. But yeah, anyway.
Weirdly, I think the DC, you said like maybe in the beginning it'll be like that. And in terms of just like our knowledge of the world, yes, but like it's kind of like it's actually jumping ahead where it's like everything's fantastical.
Literally after I said that, I was like, well, actually no, because like this is already developed.
But
this is almost maybe
what,
more fantasy, but maybe
yeah.
but maybe that will work because it's starting that way.
No,
That's
that's my point, is that it will help it because it doesn't have to worry about Batman's over here, Superman's over there.
Yes.
It could just be like this crazy kind of world, fantastical world. Anyway, I just, those are just kind of always problems, especially because New York has like where all the superheroes are in the MCU for the most part.
Yeah.
And I would be tickled if Moon Knight showed up in a season or next season.
He teams up with Daredevil and Spider-Man too, right? Like they're kind of guys that get together.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they all team up at some point. And so I just think that that'd be cool. Also get Oscar Isaac back.
Yeah.
And it just really feels like to me they're really just going to do Bullseye, Punisher, and then bring back the Defenders like Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones.
Maybe.
And
yeah,
I definitely think Jessica Jones or Luke Cage will definitely be back. I would bet a lot
I
of
saw
money
that
on it,
like
actually.
article about the Iron Fist actor like begging, basically.
Give me another chance.
Yeah. I mean, I never watched Iron Fist, but I'm sure it was more the script than him.
Dude, this first season of Iron Fist is bad.
I know there was so much hype for it, and it was so.
It's
panned.
all
Bad
just
reviews.
office conversations in this office building. That's all it is.
Wow.
The whole time for a whole season. And so anyway, it's I I'm curious. Obviously, I think season two will be. I think it'll be stronger. I'm pretty confident in that. And this
Just
is
because
kind
they're
of
not fixing it halfway through, surely it will
yeah,
be stronger.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. With Vanessa, I mean, everything you got to think. Every time Vanessa was in the show this season, and or lines of dialogue from Kingpin about Vanessa or whatever, that's all reshoots.
Oh, she wasn't in it at all
She wasn't in the
before,
show at all
which made no
until
sense for Kingpin. She was such a key part of his character,
yeah,
his
yeah. Well, they
relationship.
they tried with like Hawkeye and then Echo, but
Yeah, well,
it
yeah.
just
Sometimes someone posted a picture of his outfit from Hawkeye where he's got this
the Hawaiian
Hawaiian
thing.
shirt.
Yeah.
And I don't care what they said, but it was just like, can you imagine? Like, they were like posting his like modern, like white suit from the show that looks like amazing, like just like Kingpin should look. And then this one, it was
Yeah.
like, this guy was going through it a few months ago. Like, he's going through like midlife
But
crisis.
he like got shot in the eyeball and it got healed.
That's
like
what
Echo
fixed
or
it though.
something.
Actually, it fixed his brain getting shot.
Yeah.
It's like those people that like they get a brain injury and now they know a different language all of a sudden. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, we've had some missteps along the way, I guess. For sure. Real quick. This won't take
Yeah.
very long. You watched the Fantastic Four trailer drop today.
I did.
What's your thoughts on it?
Looks great. I'm excited. It feels like not a completely breath of fresh air, but a little bit of breath of fresh air for the universe. I love a 60s, period piece film. That's fun. That's just a fun aesthetic, or 50s. I don't know. Is it 50s or 60s? Either way, that time. I like all the cast. I did, it was a surprise that we're already getting the Richards baby, because I know that like their child is like a huge kind of like character in the MCU, right? Like one of the most powerful people. Is that right? Like their kid. What's his name again? What's the name of the kid in the?
It ain't Nathan, is it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Can't remember his
Anyway,
name. Nathaniel. It's Nathaniel Richards.
yes. Okay. And
I
so
think that's right.
he even does he become a villain? Is that one of his things? I don't know.
He
What's his?
becomes Galactus
Oh, really?
in a way. There's some interesting things here I think we're going to see.
You think he's going to become Galactus in this?
I think Galactus is there for a reason, and it's their baby.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. So that is. Did we know that was a plot point before this trailer?
No, but it's been heavily discussed among the groups, and it's a pretty major plot point in the comics.
No, yeah, it's huge, especially in regards to like Secret Wars and stuff, right? Like he's involved with a lot of that sort of stuff, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, it's getting complicated because we don't really know what they're doing, and there's been so
Yeah.
many different big events in the comics that what are they going to pull from, whatever. But
Right.
I think there's going to be some time travel shenanigans in this
Of
movie.
course, yeah.
And
Oh,
I
in this
think
movie.
in this movie, yeah.
Okay.
There's actually a lot. I've always been thinking this for like before the first trailer, but there was a line in this trailer where he's like, "We don't have enough time," and he had like this look after he said time, like, "Wait a minute, I have all the time in the world." So
Mm,
I saw that look in Pedro Pascal, and I was like, "Are we doing some more? Are we doing more time travel than I thought?"
I mean,
And so,
that's also the way to get them to the. I mean, that's an easy device to get them to the modern world by the end of the movie. If it's already
little
involving
space
time
and
travel,
time.
it's already a part of what they're doing. Then they accidentally end up, 60 years in the future or whatever it is.
Well, it's not. This is not the MCU. This is a pocket universe. So that's fact.
Okay.
This is a different.
It's an alternate universe. Yeah.
It's
yeah,
a different Earth. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so this will. I mean, it's more multiverse stuff, right? And
Okay.
I think that Galactus might be like a multiversal
But
villain.
well, but even within with the MCU, they've already kind of decided that time traveling is multiversal travel. Like that was the whole idea behind the Infinity
Yes.
Stones. Was it wasn't that you took it from the past, you created new timelines. So in a way, time travel is jumping universes in the MCU anyway. So it still is like the perfect device to get them to Earth 818 or 616 or whatever it is.
Yep. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it's semantics at this point, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, I just realizing that it's like, there's with the MCU, time travel is multiversal just by default.
Yeah. It's like multiversal travel is not time travel, but time travel is multiversal travel also. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Like you
Does that make
can't go
sense?
to different times. You go to a different universe,
Yes.
but you
Yes.
can go to different universes without going to a different time.
Yes.
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 Yeah. Again, here's the problem. All this logic that makes no
Yep.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah, we're discussing it like, oh yeah, the paper that, but it's like it's not, none of it's real. I just rewatched
You're telling me
Endgame.
Back to the Future's bullshit? Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched that scene last
Oh,
week,
dude,
actually.
by the way, there's a in Pantheon early on, they go to Lone Pine Mall.
Oh, cool.
Dude, I was just like, I literally watched it. I was like, Lone Pine Mall. Damn, there it is right there.
You
Like,
never
just
get that reference.
never
Probably
would
if
have
you hadn't
known
watched
that was like,
Yeah.
it obviously is. I mean, no, you would never name it that for any other
Nobody in
reason.
the world ever would know that. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so Fantastic Four, I think looks great. It looks like Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm will be the main character and not Reed
Mm.
Richards. Like it
Mhm.
feels like they're really. I mean, people are discussing like not seeing his powers. We saw a little bit this time. It could
Just in
be,
that action scene, yeah.
it could just be visual effects not done. They just really want to make sure it's good, which is fine. But it just feels like they're not really showing Reed talking a lot, even in this trailer.
Well, even the fact that it's about her baby, she being pregnant, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So I
She
think
would
she's
be
the main
central.
character.
And I think Reed will be very next. Like I think he will still be very like their relationship will be as much of the main character as even as she is, right? Like
I agree.
that will be a part of it. But I mean, it does make sense in that because I think Reed will become an obvious leader once we get to. He is one of the he is the other Tony. He's the next Tony Stark in terms of just.
I think
leadership.
Reed will be a driving force. Well,
And so
in Secret Wars, yes,
It would make some sense to give Vanessa Kirby more of the spotlight here, knowing that Reed is going to get it later. You know what I mean? I think that makes some sense.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think
she looked great. I mean, I do. The only other version of the Invisible Woman we got is Jessica Alba. And
we got what's her face from House of Cards. Can't think of her name.
Wait, when?
There was a movie
I
called
don't even
Force
count
Link.
those movies as existing. I live
Well,
I live in a multiverse where those never got made.
I've time traveled then because I've seen both of them.
Yeah. But it does feel like a more adult, just a more interesting version of the character. That's not just eye candy or a young adolescent annoying teen or whatever. And so I enjoy. I mean, Vanessa Kirby's obviously great. The chemistry the chemistry between them seems really good. I love obviously Ben Grimm, the actor. It is interesting having him talk, not doing like the Thing voice. But I like it. I think it makes him. It feels more different. It feels better just for him, and I just love the actor behind it. So
Me too. Eben Moss, Bacharach, or whatever his name is.
yes,
Yeah, he's great, and I agree. Like, I mean, I'm not like destroyed that he doesn't have the low grumble voice, but I like what's happening, but also I would have been probably more okay with like the Thing
Sure.
voice, but I'm okay where it stands. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be good. I'm really excited for Thunderbolts trailer. Like every trailer, we'll talk about it. Every trailer they have like a 80s pop song that they've like redone for and I'm all here for that.
yeah.
And so that's like 2 weeks from now. We have Thunderbolts or Fantastic Four, or a month or two after that. Last thing I want to ask you when we get off here, like this is like a 5-minute thing. Over under, is the Batman Part 2 going to ever come out?
Has there been more rumors or something?
There's the rumor now that it's going to be delayed again or indefinitely canceled.
Well, I heard that was there a rumor that like Matt Reeves is dealing with some sort of medical issue?
That's the rumor.
That it was like a Chadwick Boseman situation?
Yeah.
So he's like has a terminal
stuff.
disease or relationship stuff?
I've heard both.
Like with the studios?
With a spouse or someone, a partner or something like that.
Like just he's got personal issues he's going through that you can't focus on it.
Yeah. Because this is taking, and just objectively, like, I'm not saying that, like, Matt shouldn't take care of his own stuff. That's more important to making a movie.
Of course.
But objectively, it's taken a long time to make this movie. Like, it shouldn't take this long to make a movie.
And it just feels like the rest of the universes are just moving. Like, it almost feels like it's getting to a point where it almost feels a little pointless or a little.
The Batman kind of. It can end. Like, and we had like the Joker tease and the
this would
Riddler
also
tease.
be, you know what? If they just wanted to end that and then bring Pattinson in as the Batman,
do you think
that could work.
Do you think he would also be? I mean, I could see him folding it
He's a
in.
young
like,
one, but by the time they get to that movie, he'll be older.
Well, he's now the oldest Batman. Like he's as old as older than Ben Affleck was when Ben Affleck did the
He just
BVS.
looks younger though.
He looks younger, but he's older. Or yeah,
He's older than Ben Affleck was when he played him.
I think maybe older than Christian Bale was when Christian Bale ended The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. He was like 30 when he started it. He was young, wasn't he? Or 35.
Yeah, he's like 33, I think, when Batman Begins.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's
And Pattinson's in like early 40s now.
in some ways it's sad because it's like, again, the potential of that universe was so high. This potential was so strong.
Yeah.
The execution was just undercut it in a way that just was just unfortunate. And then it's like, well, if that gets canceled, are we getting more Penguin?
Exactly. But that also ends in a way where it's like, I mean, his thing is
it could stand alone. Yeah.
Well, it's like it's Batman. I mean, like next thing is Batman, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
we set that character up to lose.
I mean, there's it's like, okay, is the best version of this we bring in Colin Farrell and Pattinson from that universe and we ditch the rest of it?
I
don't
can see
know.
them just canceling it. I mean, to me,
I know I could
Pattinson-
too. I mean, at this point, it feels like
It feels kind of contained. Is my
they've
point.
lost all the momentum. They've lost kind of the zeitgeist of it. I mean, like, yes, there are still people that defend, like, that call that movie a masterpiece, but they're a vocal minority for the most part. I think most people like it, but see there's pretty big issues, especially in the third act. I think most people agree, like, what the fuck was going on in the end.
I hope they agree.
And someone else said they like realized that, like, when I started realizing it was an issue, I realized that if you removed Batman, the plot of the movie still just happens. Like, if you just take Batman
really?
out, the whole movie just keeps, it'll say the same. The events will happen. I haven't checked that out
The
logically.
ending still happens, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, the ending still happens on time.
Yes.
Except for the fact that he would probably succeed in killing more people at the end.
Yes.
That's it.
Sure.
The only reason he does all that stuff is just to get Batman in the jail cell to be like, we're buddies, and also you're safe from the explosion. That's it.
Yeah, it's fucking wild.
Especially after you've read
Yeah.
Zero Year.
Well, again, and also Paul Dano, who is in Pantheon. He voices one of the main guys, and he's so good. So I've been thinking about. I mean, that again, a perfect casting. There's like, yes, he is the perfect Ridley. He looks like him. He can do like the
Perfect
awkward, socially awkward, like that.
Yeah.
That is the perfect casting. And then you did that with him, and it's just fucking. And the perfect costume too. Honestly, like, I loved the visual design they had for him. Thought it was great.
This come in the mail. This is the absolute version of Batman Zero Year. So it's
It's like
really,
all of it.
Yeah, only 12 issues, but it's the premium format of like the. So this is the Riddler.
That's awesome. That slip cover is awesome. I love
Yeah,
that.
it's sick, man.
Um,
But yeah, so I just
anyway.
I mean,
it's
I'm very
unfortunate.
curious. What's your answer though? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think cancel it? Do you think it's going to be rolled in? Like, what's the most likely scenario? to
Knowing
you?
David Zaslav, I think it'll cancel it. I think the farther it gets away, the less the money people can probably project its profits accurately, or the projection of its profits probably go down the farther you get away from the other ones potentially. I mean, and then it's just like, I mean, like, Robert Pattinson's not just, he's busy, you know what I mean? It's, there's all these other parts of getting everyone in the same place and the practicalities of that. And I mean, it had a giant budget, the first one, didn't it?
It was the standard, what I'm
Like
saying?
200 million, something like that.
Something like that. But it made and there was COVID problems too.
And it
of
made
course.
good money, right? It did well.
I think 700 million. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, Batman has to be one of the most bankable IPs they have. Just if you make Batman, this many people will show up.
It's the most
Just
bankable,
guaranteed,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So maybe there is a version where they still crunch the numbers and they still have a good profit margin, so they do it. But yeah, I mean, and especially if Matt Reeves isn't involved in it, they're not going to give the reins to somebody else.
I don't see them doing a part 2 without Matt Reeves. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't see them
Yeah.
continuing the universe without him.
Yeah. I can see them maybe, and that's the thing. I can see them maybe rolling it into the DCU. I don't know. I don't
Maybe,
really know.
but I do feel like this is not the direction I think James Gunn would have gone for in his Batman.
I think if there's one, I agree. I think if there's one more delay, it will be like a Ryan
The
Johnson
death
delay.
nail.
Like
Yeah.
it'll be kind of like, oh yeah,
Oh,
it's still on the docket, but it's really like, okay, now we know it's not happening.
yeah. Yeah.
We've gotten, like you said, we've gotten too close to the proposed Brave and the Bold. And it was like, if
Yeah,
this came
well,
out
you're
last
right. Like
year,
the
we would have
further
had a gap.
the further they push that out, you can't have that cross. They can't have those movies coming out in the same year. Maybe not even well, even
I,
1 year apart could be too soon,
yeah, I don't think
Because
one year part's good
you're
either.
inviting so much. You're inviting a split fan base to a degree with that too.
Yeah.
You're inviting. Well, now there's going to be a bunch of tribalism about which Batman's better and which universe is better, and I
Yes.
just don't think you want that in the DCU, Gunn's DCU. So that part makes me think it probably won't happen, just because it has to get out way before that movie to not clash, and I just that seems really hard to do at this point.
Well, I think, they didn't really announce the season two of Penguin either, and like,
But they talked
I,
about it. There was all this talk about it doing because of
yeah,
how
but I
well it did
think,
and the Emmys.
yeah, well, I mean, it really did, like, I think kind of spark the conversation back up again, and also
It
kind of make you
did.
realize it's been like 3 years since the Batman.
It did.
But I think now that the Penguin also hangs in the balance of what happens with part two, because if they're not
Yeah.
going to continue part two, then
It would be
the
really
Peng
weird to do more Penguin.
it would be
Really
really
weird.
weird.
Unless you are getting Battinson in and it's a Penguin Batman season.
But why would you even want that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, I'm probably right. But
It's like,
I mean,
it's
if
just
that's the
like,
way if you could get that going and that's going to be the final thing, we're just going to do one more season of Penguin, but Batman's in it, and this is just the end of this universe. There's a version of it where you do a really good send off and, high note, and you make it you give us some sort of closure. But yeah, I don't think it's necessary, and I don't know if it would work. And even just getting Robert Pattinson tied down to a series would probably be hella expensive. It's probably really expensive getting Colin Farrell. So
yeah,
yeah,
I don't think it's worth it. And then also you have like Green Lantern's coming out, and these other
I'm
TV shows.
so excited for
So,
that.
dude, me too. And it is finishing in the pilot, but I'm saying same kind of conversation. It's like, oh, is the Penguin in the same universe as Lanterns, and like, what is going on?
Yeah, you're right. Just it just becomes messy and messier to keep it going. It really does feel
I
like that ship's sinking. I don't, unless something surprising happens. I think I'm just feeling like, yeah, I think it'll probably be done.
I was confident 3 months ago, like, oh yeah, we're getting Batman Part Two. But like the last 2 weeks, like my gears have been turning a lot, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I think we might be done, which is
yeah,
odd. A one-off Batman movie.
really weird, really weird. Um,
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
old school days,
and
like
again, such a tragic waste of potential.
it
Unfortunately,
could have been the
it could have been the
best
next thing.
Batman movie of,
I
and
mean,
some people say it is. But I'm saying it could have been,
yeah,
but it actually
those are
could have
just the
been
people
like
that
the
are
Court
like
of Owls.
they're only watching it to like pretend they are Batman while they're watching the movie and just
Like,
feel cool.
I don't know what's going on, but I mean, we
I
could
feel
have
like
got
the
a
people
Court of Owls movie in
that
that
like
universe.
the people that love it are like edgelordy to me all the time. It's like they're like, yeah, it's so dark and edgy and like
And the
it's just like, it's
cinematography.
real and visceral and he's so perfect as the Batman and like like yeah, it's just it's
Yeah,
fucking like it's the amount the people that love it that like stan it. Yeah, I don't get it. It really, to me, it has to be that like this is either you're young enough that this is now like your Dark Knight, you're just at the right age, and that this hit in a way that like it become your kind of zeitgeisty movie, and so you've got this nostalgia attached to it, or you
yeah,
have some sort of nostalgia to a comic book that looks just like it has to be. It's not logic based. I have to believe it's not logic that's leading you to
yeah,
think this is the best Batman movie ever. It's emotion, and emotion's great, and I'm glad you're feeling it. But let's be honest, it's not logic.
yeah. I've seen it a gross amount of times, and I do still like it. But it's like a allegory of the cave. I know what could have been, and because
Yes.
of that, because I know what could have been, it's not that.
It
It
always
makes
feels
it a
like a
little bit
shadow.
less.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it feels like
yeah,
a shadow.
yeah.
All right, well, I'm excited to see what happens with that. Superman,
Indeed.
of course, Daredevil season two. We powered through
Yes.
season one. We have Andor around the corner. I believe we're going to start talk to studio pretty soon.
Oh man,
And then
yeah.
we have the Doctor
Last of
in
Us
for
has started, which I haven't seen the first episode yet,
I
but it
have seen
started.
it. I didn't tell you this. I beat it last week.
Perfect timing.
I did. I was, I've been not playing it on purpose for like 3 years.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I finally like I got to do this because we're going to talk about the pod. And I did it and I was like 10 out of 10 game.
Well. Yeah.
Perfect game. I mean, the story, I could see people having issues with it, but as far as a video game goes, I was like,
Yeah.
this is why I play video games, and I just
Yeah.
had a blast with it. So,
Speaking of video games, I've been playing a bunch of the Blueprints. Have you seen anything about that?
what's
It's
that?
good. It's like one of the highest rated games of the year. It's a puzzle adventure kind of exploration game.
Oh,
It's fucking amazing. If you like
Xbox?
puzzle games, yeah, it's on Game Pass. If you like puzzle games, like
I do. I just played Braid the other day and loved
oh,
it.
dude, you might really love this. So it's one of those games where like here's the objective, but then as you play it, there's so many other layers of mysteries and puzzles it's giving you
Yeah.
that it's just like there's always something giving you that aha moment. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, and like it's that game where you'll walk by something 40 times, and then by the time you'll stop, like, wait a minute, oh my God, that's that. Like it's like one of
Okay.
those games that makes you feel like you're like it's a roguelite and that like you do round. So like the premise of the game is the blueprint. It's a play on blueprint, and so you are designing a house, and so you start at the first room and you want to get to the room at the top of the house. It's like a grid. And so when you go to a door, it presents you with like 3 different rooms you can choose to place here. And different rooms, some rooms are dead ends. Some rooms have 3 doors. Some rooms have 1 or 2. And then each room might have a puzzle in it. So there might be one that has, there's a really fun logic puzzle where there's 3 boxes. They each have a statement on it and you can only unlock one. One of them has a prize, but you have to, and the rule is one of these statements is always false. One of these statements is always true. Figure out which one has the gems in it. And so like you're kind of doing that logic. One of them has a math puzzle. One of them has, it's just like that kind of thing where each room has its own little thing going on, but then you're also trying to build this puzzle that leads you up the graph to get to the final room. And then you're uncovering the story of this house and you're starting to recognize this and that. And then so it's a puzzle game that you don't get frustrated with because it's always, even if you're like, you come to a puzzle, like, I can't figure this out. It's best to keep moving on because for one, there's another thing you're probably working on. I can just go do this instead. I can do that instead. So every run doesn't always have to be getting to the room. It can just be you learning. You're like, oh, I did this room and I drew this room. Like sometimes you'll draw a room that's really, really rare and you only draw it like once forever, but then it has a piece of information that you get that now, oh, this other room, and now I know what to do there. And so it's like, it's challenging and it's like, it's making you think. And like in roguelites, usually the thing is you do a new run every time, but you get stronger, your character gets more upgraded. In this one, it's like you become smarter. You just know more about what's going on. So now you just know how to do it better. And so it's like, you really do, it makes you feel really smart, makes you feel like a genius. And like you're solving real mysteries that are just like, it's almost like it's more of a game about observation than it is anything else. Just paying attention and noticing and just connecting dots. And like,
I'm definitely going to download it. Never heard of it. I'm going to download it today.
it's got like 9s out of 10s everywhere. Like,
Did you play that game 2 years ago now? We may have talked about it. It's like Willem Dafoe, but you're like in a hotel room or something.
6 minutes or something? Like it was like
Yeah.
a time. No, I heard about it. Did you ever play it?
Yeah, I beat it. Yeah, you should play
It's
it.
similar to this. It sounds a little bit similar where you're like, you're
Yeah.
trying things and it's like, you're in a loop to a degree. But it's also, with this game, it's random. So every time you go to a new door, it's a random selection of rooms it brings up. And so you don't know what you're going to get. And then you'll find things that let you re-roll rooms. Cause like one of the things is like, sometimes you'll just draw a bunch of dead ends and then you have to, your run is done because you have no way to keep going. There's no doors. And so, so it's learning, well, maybe I should put the dead ends over here so they're already out of the way. Cause if I use that, then I can't draw it again. And like, so there's it's just really fun. And then it's all first person. Like you're just walking around rooms in a first person viewpoint. So it's like explore, you can, walk over here, look at this picture. You get items that help you, you get a magnifying glass that lets you look closer at things and you'll find hidden messages that you can't see without the magnifying glass. It's like, it's just got that perfect sauce of, obviously you're leading me to a different, this game was designed to have these mysteries figured out, but every time I figure it out, it feels like I did it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it feels like, oh crap, now I know this, now I know that. And it never frustrates you because that's the other thing is for every puzzle, the game will eventually tell you 4 different ways to solve it. basically. Like, and it's like the deeper you get, like there's one puzzle that's like, that has to do with colors. And at first you're like, what the I have no clue what's going on. And then later you like, if you pay attention, if you use the magnifying glass on this little thing, you can look there and it will tell you what to do with it. But if you miss that, later, if you open like this certain kind of room, like in a classroom, it will just like literally like this means that. Like it's like not being vague at all anymore. It's just like spelling it out for you. So what it means is like, you don't have to like be afraid like, oh, I missed the one board in the one room that if you don't click right here, it opens. Like there's some like mystery games and sometimes puzzle games can be like that, where it's like you have to click this part of the screen at this point, or you miss this thing and then you can't solve it. You know what I mean? Like there's things like that. With this, it's not. It's like it is going to keep telling you how to solve it less and less vaguely until you understand and can do these things. So it's just a brilliantly constructed game that, again, makes you feel like a genius, doesn't frustrate you because there's always something else you can explore or think about or whatever. Yeah, it's just a really, really, really good game. Good game. And I'm normally not a puzzle guy. Like you know, like Myst, I played a little bit of those games when I was younger. Like my mom loved them. I used to play some of the old Nancy Drew point and clicks. Those were kind of fun. But this one is like, like I've been kind of addicted to it in a way that I usually do not feel towards like puzzle games. You know, I usually want action and gameplay, and this isn't gameplay. This is all logic and thinking and exploring and connecting dots and observation. And so it's a very different experience playing games. Like this is not usually what I sit down to get out of, like I get done with this and I'm kind of tired, you know, like my brain's like, okay, I need to take a break from trying to connect all these dots because it's been working. You know, it's like typically with games, it's more like I turn my brain off and I'm just reacting. So it's just a kind of different. It's not what I usually get out of my gaming time, but I've been really enjoying it.
Good. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
How can listeners write into us?
Listeners, you can write into bit.ly/241mail and let us know what you think of Daredevil Born Again Season 1. Fantastic Four First Steps. Is this the first official trailer? I think technically they've all been teasers. I don't know. Anyway, the latest one. And hey, maybe you also have been playing Blueprints, or you're going to go check it out now. Let us know at bit.ly/241mail.
And if you can't hit us, but are you can always find us in the comment section below, youtube.com/@241studios. Again, it's the best place to all the content. And also let me know if Batman is going to come out with part 2 or not. I'm very curious.
Yeah. I'd be curious what our audience feel on that.
Yay or nay. All right, Daniel. Well, 238. We have 2 more to go. And then our
Evolution
2-for-1 episode with Dr. Bruce Hutchinson.
It's basically like we're Charmander and we're level like 14. But when we get to level 16, that's when we evolve.
Yeah, 100%.
That's basically what it's like. Yeah.
We're not, and then who knows what Charizard will be however many years in the future.
Who knows?
We get the Charizard, it'd be cool. If not, it's fine.
We're actually going to evolve into a 3-eyed white dragon. We're just going to jump universes at the last stage because why the fuck not? Yeah.
I love it. I love that.
Or was it blue-eyed white dragon? I think that's blue-eyed white dragon. That's a 3-eyed.
I like 3-eyed white dragon. Yeah, the most doofus looking dragon ever. All right. My name is Donovan Thompson.
I'm Daniel Wingfield.
And we have spoken.